What's up, everybody? It's Steve Williams, founder, president of the CreditRepairShop.com. And in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about getting rid of those collections and taking responsibility and getting things done and getting it over with, because there's been another release of debt into the market. It seems like what's happening now, maybe because tax season coming up and the companies are dumping all of their debt so they can get the tax write-off, and you have debt collection companies buying them. I mean, it just buying millions upon millions of dollars worth of debt every week, and they're going to be going after people. And it's I could see that it's going to be very tough. They're gonna hit people right when they're thinking that they can get ahead with getting their income tax money. All of a sudden, they're going to be slammed, and they're either going to get garnished, and then they're going to have to use money from their income taxes to take care of their regular household bills when they thought that they were going to get ahead. And that's what's going to happen. I mean, I'm seeing it. I'm not some type of uh, psychic, but I mean, I could just see it. They're buying millions of dollars worth of debt, and they're going to go after the strategies that I've talked about, which is they're going to send out the letters. Anyone that doesn't respond to the letter, automatically they're going to forward that to go to court. Don't go to court, get default judgment. Get the default judgment, go straight into garnishing the wages. That's their business model that they're using right now. Uh, so, briefly, before I get into how to deal with those debt collectors in detail, I want to talk about some things that came across my desk. I'm going to be, for one of my companies, we're going to be hiring 12 sales reps for my advertising company. And I thought one of the questions on here would even cross over into what we talk about with credit repair. Because no matter what, everything that we experience, everything that we are, is a result of what we're thinking about on the inside. And the more I think about that, the more I learn, the more I watch. I was just watching a video by Bob Proctor, and the more I understand this, the better I start to perform for things that I need to get done and to understand more about taking responsibility. Is that where you, if you want to see how you, what you think about yourself, you can't really ask yourself that question because you'll lie to yourself. We will lie to ourselves. I lumped myself into that. But what you can do to find out what you really think about yourself is look at your life right now, the results. Because the results that you have right now is exactly how you believe deep inside what your worth is and your value, everything on a relation, health, everything is what the way your results that you have right now. And no one is perfect. We all have different things that we struggle with, but some of us struggle where it looks like they have no control of their life. And so what I tell people to do is to, number one, is you're going to have to, if you want to make any changes, financial, health wise, relationship, whatever you want to change, you have to be willing to, number one, have the idea of the change, and then you have to fight through the process of changing, which is repetition over and over and over and over again. So whatever you want to change, you have to go through a repetitive cycle of bombarding that with the new idea, with the new habit, and allowing the energy to flow through you. Do not get stuck with frustration, because when you try to do something different and subconsciously, which has all of our habits, and those two hit, subconscious will always win. But the way that you change the subconscious is you give it repetition over and over and over, and then all of a sudden the new habit will start to form and show itself. Also, when you can't be thinking that that's going to happen overnight. So now to wrap this all around debt and collections is what I see is I see people that are they're held down by having so much debt over their head and they don't know where to start. So all they think about is I got all this debt, I got all this debt, got all these bills, don't have enough money, don't have enough money. And the more you think about that is the when whatever you think about comes into your life. So if you think I got collections, debt, not enough money, can't pay my bills, more of that is going to come in your life. But what you're probably thinking right now is if I have that problem, and then subconsciously you know you had that problem, and consciously you know you had that problem, how am I going to change that problem when I live with this problem every day? The way that you do it, and you're talking to a person that had to do it for his own life. When I was 20 years old, out of the military, uh, working a third shift security guard job, earning $364.84 every 2 weeks in 1990. I had to figure out how to do that. So it would, and I was married. We had 2 kids, and my wife was working at a factory off and on, not having any money, having too much in bills to pay, uh, struggling, living in a 1 bedroom studio. How do we change that life when we don't have anything? And the way that we did it is you got to have that idea. The idea was we're going to start a business and we're going to make those changes in our life. That we were going to do it. And that's what you have to do when it comes to your debt, comes to collections. Is number one, you have to have an idea. Once you have an idea, either yourself or you link up with someone like our company or anyone that you trust, and you come and you put together a plan. And then you have to be willing to work that plan. And that plan is what's going to be that idea that goes over the subconscious, over the subconscious, over the subconscious. And suddenly you're going to start seeing some things work your way because you're thinking about getting out of debt, making more money, rather than being in debt and not having money. So now, real quick, let's talk about what to do if you get those collection letters because they've released millions more this week. Um, these are collection accounts for medical, repo, credit cards, department store cards, payday loans. I even saw the cosmetic surgery companies. All of these, they're just dumping it all because they want to get the write off for the upcoming year. So what you have to do is when you get that letter in the mail, don't disregard it. It will look like a bill, but it's not a bill. If you read it, clearly it says if you want to dispute. Even if the debt is yours, you had a right to dispute because if they purchase the debt, they have to get all of the documentation proving that that debt is yours. Signatures, everything that proves that you got that loan. If it's credit cards, they have to even keep all of the charges for that credit card, that showing your signature for all of the charges on that card. If they don't have that, then they will usually not come after you. They might try to sell it again, and you have to always go through that process. But if they don't have it, it is not a valid debt. If they do provide you that documentation, then the next step is to make sure, double check everything. If it's credit cards, you look through, and if it's yours, then you need to move to settlement. And that's what I talk about, moving towards solutions. If it's a repossession, then you need to go a step further. Make sure on your contract that there wasn't any type of riders of insurance that would pay off the car if it was repoed, especially if it was a bad credit loan. There's a lot of riders that they put on the contracts, insurance policy that will pay the car off. If they didn't have that, then they still took it to auction. You need to get that bill of sale. Make sure that they didn't sell it for more than what was owed on the loan, because that money would actually be coming to you. Or sold it for what was actually owed, or whatever the amount is that they sold it for. match that against what you owe, and then you would be charged the difference. That balance, then you could move that forward and say, I want to make a settlement offer on that balance. And that's what, again, moving forward. You don't want to have to get it into the courts. You could be proactive. When collection agencies buy debts, what they do, the first step, what they do is they try to see what they can collect first, real quick. They offer very nice settlements. The next step, as they start to spend money in the process, then it becomes harder to settle the debt. So, and the reason why they do that is because at the beginning they front load. They try to say, let's send it out there and see how much of our money that we can get back for what we spent to buy this debt. And then the next step is when we go to court, how much can we get at this process level, at this level. If they make it all the way to garnishments, it's going to be hard for you to do a settlement because they spent so much money with attorneys fees and paperwork with the courts and showing up to court times, billable hours, all of that. They spent a lot of money, so they're going to want to try to maximize the dollars that they're getting on that. So if you need help with your credit repair, or you need to get your credit reports, there's links below here. And I enjoy seeing your comments. If you have any comments or questions, just put them below there and I'll answer them for you. And again, make sure that you move forward in your life. You don't have time to sit and worry and be depressed. Don't do that to yourself. There is better days for you. All you have to do is get moving in the right direction. Thanks a lot. This is Stephen Williams with the CreditRepairShop.com.